On weekends, we do reruns so that yours truly can take a couple days off. Look for a fresh new episode on Monday. Meanwhile, please enjoy this episode for this day from a previous year. I thank you so much for your indulgence and loyalty, and have a great weekend. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for June 23rd. June 23rd is the 174th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 175th in leap years, with 191 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is sargassum. Sargassum is a particular kind or family of seaweed. Sargassum seaweed usually refers to a particular class of seaweed called the Phaeophyceae or Phaeophyceae, which is a multicellular brown algae that also have air bladders that help them float. Sargassum is sometimes also called gulfweed. Reported recently about a 5,000-mile-long belt of this seaweed, an estimated 13 million tons. There's a typical range where sargassum is more likely to be found, called the Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt, which stretches from the western coast of Africa all the way over the Atlantic into the Gulf of Mexico. Sargassum is actually an important part of the healthy oceanic ecosystem, but when it washes up on shore and begins to rot, it can release hydrogen sulfide, which smells like rotten eggs. Ew. This hydrogen sulfide can also irritate one's eyes, nose, and throat, and cause trouble for those prone to asthma attacks. The Department of Health also advises beachgoers to avoid touching it with your bare skin because other little creatures might live among the leaves, such as jellyfish larvae, which can be really troublesome. If you live on or near a beach where sargassum is washed up, close your windows to reduce the smell in your house, and use gloves if you're going to try to clean any of it up. The name sargassum comes to us from the Portuguese language. First known use of the word sargassum is in 1890. The word sargassum was suggested for the word of the day by one of my viewers. And if you have a word you'd like me to explore in the word of the day section, pop it in the comments. I'll talk about it. And with that, during the early 1600s, about 60 French families were established in an area called Acadia. It seems they got along well with the local natives and learned the most effective ways to hunt and fish that part of the world. They lived in an area whose border was intermittently contested between French Canada, modern Quebec, and the British territories in New England. Whether they liked it or not, they often became entangled in the conflicts between these two powers. And on June 23, 1713, the French residents of Acadia were given 1 year to declare allegiance to Britain or leave Nova Scotia. Eventually, many of the Acadians did leave the area. Some of them ended up in Louisiana, and we now know them as Cajuns. And we've talked about John Jacob Astor before. He was a German-born American citizen. He'd been active in several enterprises during his life and ended up as the wealthiest person in the United States at the time of his death. One of his earlier enterprises was the fur trade, and it was on June 23, 1810, that John Jacob Astor formed the Pacific Fur Company. He made a lot of money in the fur trade and parlayed that into real estate and other investments and enterprises, and became the first multimillionaire in the United States. The United States Congress established the Government Printing Office on June 23, 1860. Later renamed the United States Government Publishing Office, they are in charge of producing and distributing information products for all three branches of the federal government. A man named Christopher Latham Sholes received a patent for an invention he called the Typewriter on June 23, 1868. This is the birthday of Valerie June Carter, born June 23, 1929. We know her better, though, as American singer, songwriter, musician, and actress June Carter Cash. Besides being an award-winning musician and Johnny Cash's wife, she's done a fair bit of acting as well, in movies, TV shows, and theater productions. As June Carter, she's credited as having written the song Ring of Fire, which became a big hit for Johnny Cash. June Carter Cash lived to the age of 73. American blues singer Robert Calvin Brooks was born in 1930, only we know him better by his professional name, Bobby Blue Bland. He's known for having developed a sound that blends gospel, blues, and rhythm and blues, or R&B, and was informally called the Lion of the Blues, or even the Sinatra of the Blues. He's been inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Memphis Hall of Fame, and has received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Serious professional he was. He performed until shortly before his death on June 23, 2013, at the age of 83. And in honor of Mr. Bobby Blue Bland, today's song is Farther Up the Road, sometimes called Farther On Up the Road. He recorded this one in 1957, and it's described as an influential early Texas shuffle. Authorship of this song is credited to Joe Medwick Vesey. This version charted on the Billboard Hot 100 and hit number 1 on the Billboard R&B chart in 1957. The song itself has also been performed by Eric Clapton, appearing on several of his albums beginning in 1975. Further On Up the Road by Bobby Blue Bland, and also by Eric Clapton. Links in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that is called No Really. And you can also find me on Rumble and BitChute. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. June. Seriously? Do not disturb. With 202 days remaining to the end of the world. End of the year. Please, not the end of the world. 202 days remaining to the end of the year. Let's read that one again. Third time better be a charm. There's no "the" there. One more time. Attracting. Just read the whole thing over. Are you making some sound? Get on out of here. Yeah, we're gonna edit that out. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.